What's going on, guys? Peter here, and I'm going to show you guys a quick little tip on how to make your own cargo liner. And so basically, we've got our 2005 Lincoln Navigator. I've bought cargo liners in the past. Basically, I bought one of those the waterproof material ones, and just didn't like that they didn't really offer any type of padding, and the ones that did were hundreds of bucks, like $100 to $200 depending on where you went, and that's even online. So I went down to Harbor Freight, and they had an actual special on this right now. These are anti-fatigue roll mats, and I also picked up some of these squares, so you can kind of go either route, and depending on how much square footage you're needing to cover. So the roll mats were 24 by 72, and the cool thing is my bed is 48. If you have all of them down, you're going to go up to 72 to the top of the front row. You know, I have a center console there, so that kind of removes some of the space. But what I'm going to do is kind of custom cut it and fit it in there. I'm going to show you how I'm putting mine together and how it looks inside real quick. I basically got it done. So once again, this is the 72 by 24. I bought two of those, the roll mats. They were 20% off today for Father's Day, so $9.99 to a regular price, so got them for $7.99 each. So basically under 20 bucks for both. And then I picked up a roll of duct tape, and these are going to come rolled, and they're going to kind of curl up. So what I did was I laid them out and put some weights on them in the sun for about 30 minutes or so, and then what I did was I flipped them both over. Let me go ahead and do that now. And the same process works with these mats here, except you're gonna have to do a little more taping. I slid them together and ran about a few strips of duct tape going this direction to kind of tack them down on the end. And then maybe, I ended up going with about 5 strips of duct tape, because I started with a duct tape roll that wore out and then went over that. So, you know, that's up to you how secure you want to make it, but this is very secure. I did about, like I said, probably 5 strips of it. And you could go more. And so if you're going to use these mats here, same type of process. And the cool thing about these mats is, if I did use these, the size of these, which is 25 by 25, basically squeezes right in. 4 of those squeeze right in this very back bed. And this would work for the Expedition, maybe the Explorer. You might have to cut them, but they're very easy to cut. You can take an X-Acto knife, and then you kind of, let me go ahead and put this in now so you guys can get an idea. Now, this is still going to need to be trimmed, because the 72 goes, like I said earlier, is going to go to the top of my 3rd row, but I've got that center console, so let's go ahead. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed while holding on to the phone. Kind of come inside here. We'll pull it up, and you can see here it reaches right to the top there, and I've got that center console. So what I'm going to do is probably cut the whole thing along here, right where the seats start, and then I'm going to put individual pieces, probably Velcro them onto the back of those seats. But I'm going to give you an idea. I like the diamond, that's why I went with the longer roll for this. You know, once I get that in there, it's going to look really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this, put it in, and kind of show you guys what I did from there. Alright, so for the next step, all you're going to really do is measure the inside of your bed. And if you want to have a little overhang, just kind of add that in. What I did was I laid it out in there, and then I kind of pulled it real tight, and then made a little mark, which was ironically right at 4 feet, which makes sense. So it's a 48-inch area that goes over there. And I'm going to go ahead and mark this with a straight line, and go ahead and cut that with an X-Acto knife, and then lay that in there. And then I'm going to cut out the seat backs, which I'm going to measure that, and then we're going to probably Velcro that to the back of the seats. Alright, so for the back of the seats, I went a little wider because I want this kind of work as a barrier as well. So I went 20 inches. The seats kind of, and this is how the main piece lays in there. Now you can go from here and put Velcro strips on the corners to keep it from peeling up. It does lay down very nicely once you get it in there. It doesn't move around, it sticks to that. But nice thing about the Velcro is this is very fuzzy, a lot of times these carpets. So the one side of the Velcro that would stick to the fuzzier side can be put down. You don't need to put both sides of the Velcro down. So that makes it really nice, and it hooks really good. That's what the other liner that I'd put in had Velcro strips, and they stayed really well. But the seats here are 20 inches on the top and probably 16 inches on the bottom, so I could cut it to kind of conform to this seat. But my goal is, most of the time my seats are going to be up like that, and if I come around, so my dogs will like to kind of squeeze in between, so I want to put a barrier right in the middle and have the seats kind of act as a protection as well. You can see how dirty the seats got. So I'm going to cut it a straight 20 inches and let that foam kind of hang across the back there. I think it's going to give it a finished look too. But we'll see. If I want to cut it down, I can trim it from there. But once I trim it down, I can't go larger. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you. Well, basically, I just made marks. Of course, I'm not going to use the strip that has the tape. And then all I'm going to do is take my X-Acto knife and kind of follow it along here. Also, when cutting this, this is the part that I cut. Once you hit this middle part with the duct tape, you're going to have to flip it in order to cut through the duct tape, or you're going to mess it up while trying to pull it apart. So don't forget to flip it back over and cut that duct tape as well. But it looks pretty good. It fits in very, very nicely, and for under 20 bucks, I don't think you can beat a bed liner like this, nice and soft for the dogs. It's pretty durable material, so I'll probably get a couple of years out of this, if not the rest of the life of this vehicle. But I'm going to go ahead and cut these and show you guys the final result. Okay guys, so I got it in here, and like earlier what I said is I wanted to have like some overhang to kind of block out the dogs from getting into that area. But I'm not extremely happy with the way that it folds over, because it leaves a nice thick edge that they could bite on. And so what I'm going to do is trim this all down. I'm going to show you. My idea was, and see what happens, it kind of stays flipped up. My idea was there's a gap there, was when I flip up the seat, which is going to be most of the time, that it would cover that gap. But I'm obviously going to have to do something different if I want that gap to be filled while transporting the dogs. And I do have a barrier that lays right here. Actually, it's sitting right over here, that snaps in. And it works pretty good. It's basically like a pole system that you can twist, and it gets tighter and tighter towards the top. And basically, you can set that anywhere. You can set it back so they can't get to that area where there is a gap. And so I'm just going to continue to do that. And I wanted the back of the seats to have that, because the dogs tend to get that really dirty when they get excited. They lick it, they breathe on it, they rub on it. Just putting things in and out of the vehicle to make that back really dirty. So hopefully this video shows you guys how to make your own pet bed liner for under 20 bucks. And I think it's much nicer than some of the really expensive ones I saw. And of course, you can do your own customization. You can create pockets on the side of your car here with all sorts of things. Harbor Freight has some really cool bags for $3.99 for carrying tools, but you can absolutely secure that to the side of your vehicle and have little pockets to carry things in for the dogs and so forth. And those are heavy duty material, so they'll last and last. So once again, I'm Peter. This was a quick tutorial on how to put together a bed liner for your dogs or whatever you wanted to protect it from for under $20. Have a great day. Subscribe, share, and like. Okay, one last part of this video. I went ahead and basically trimmed up both sides, and I'm going to show you because I felt like this is very important to add to this video. This is just stuck up here with duct tape. I kind of flipped around double side, and just wanted to see how it would lay when I flipped it up. But one key thing is you can lay down your piece here after cutting it much larger, and then kind of mark with a marker. Or what I did was I took my X-Acto knife trim tool and kind of marked it along here, and then took it, laid it down, cut it. Now I'm going to take this off and show you guys a little trick here. So once you cut one of them, you're gonna grab your other one, okay? And before this is cut, you lay that one down, and then you take the one that you cut and trimmed and is nice, face down on the other piece. So face up, face down, take a marker, mark it all the way around, and then you can cut them and you'll have two identical pieces that lay exactly the same. Just wanted to fill you guys in on that. Once again, my name's Peter. Like, subscribe, share. I really hope this helps you guys out on building one of these.